welcome to the LEC. We're in the marquee match. Why do they say marquee? What's the origin of that? I don't know. Anyways, Cap's dad is sitting there very excited in the audience today because G2 are about to take on SK Gaming with both teams tied at 4-2 in the standings. Why is Cap's dad excited? Because if his boy manages to pick up the win, G2 will lock in a spot in the group stage. Let's take a look at the standings as I'm joined by GB and Yamato once more. You can see G2 and SK highlighted. The winner will join Team BDS, guarantee themselves a shot in the group stage in those best of threes. And crucially, both of these teams will have a large part to play in which of the teams between XL Mad Lions and Heretics get eliminated over the coming days. GB, surprising results today already.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I think even the Mad Lions versus Fnatic just now, we were very surprised about that one coming through. So all in all, very interesting day, and would have to agree with you, Yamato.
Let's talk about Draft Kingdom in a second because SK Gaming and G2 are about to take on to the Rift. And the last time they faced, SK won the matchup with a focus in the bot lane. I think Markoon's Elise in particular was hugely influential.
I think the key thing about locking down G2 is just make them uncomfortable in the bottom side. I think in this game they had a range versus range matchup. Lulu's not that known for roaming, and then the Elise lock-in was that great at just setting up dives for bot. I think that's something that SK does so well when it comes to the drafts, is they are so aware of what the conditions of the game will be, and I think this is where Sertuss and Irrelevant always manage to slot in so well. In this particular case, the enemy showcased already that it's going to be a front-to-back game. They slammed the Sion and the Azir, and I think this is something that could be an edge when G2 potentially overcook their drafts.
No, I'd have to agree with that as well, for sure. But I also think, like, with the recency we've seen from SK, though, a lot of that has been cut back a little bit. Like, they are playing this one, sharing for first place. But remember, last week, it was a 1-2 week from them. They dropped the game to Koi, they dropped the game against Vitality, and they got one against XL. So we have seen recent struggles in this team. I think specifically in the fact that they tried changing their identity up a little bit where they wanted to play more for top side. But they started playing less for bot side, and Exakick couldn't get the same relevancy that he used to have earlier.
Let's dive in a little bit deeper on the top lane. I want to talk about Irrelevant, but as well as BrokenBlade. I think this is a player who has shown throughout most of the year, let's say, struggles in lane, but larger impact later in the game. What do you make of BB? And then also the fact that he's playing into Irrelevant, who's had a surprisingly strong spring split.
I think the key thing in this matchup, I think BrokenBlade definitely has shown a lot of weaknesses in lane phase, but he finds ways to convert and be effective when it comes to the fighting. I think the key thing here, though, is that when I think of Irrelevant, I think of a player that is very, very solid and is able to show up in those fights too. I don't see this going to, like a case where it's going to be around that top side. I think both top laners are going to just show up in the fights, and we're going to have so much focus on everything else that's going on.
Yeah, we can see last time that BB played that Drakos as well, he was playing into a Renekton, and to the counterpoint with Irrelevant as well, he is a guy that is incredibly selfless. Like, very rarely will he be demanding a lot of resources. He can play the carry Renekton, as we have seen in the past, but he's also willing to just lock in that Sion and be the front line for his team, and that's what makes him so great.
Now, of course, let's talk about those bottom lanes. We can see some of the players showing on screen right now. Exakick and Hansama, the Baguette boys, the two French players who have shone and stood up. They have been the tip of the spear for both respective teams throughout the course of the Spring Split. We'll also be seeing both players joining us in post-game lobby later today. GB, when I look at the stats on this one, Hansama's just popping off, so that means he's going to win, right?
Yeah, sure, if you want to go that way.
Okay.
But I also want to put the context to it, Trevor. I'm sorry. It has been an SK Gaming that's played less for their bot lane. G2 very much still plays through that bot lane again to generate their leads. They're not afraid to send it with Mikyx. They've been playing a different style on the SK roster where they've liked to draft around a Thresh, a Felius. They play for the mid to late game, less so much for the early game. They have also been making a few mistakes in that early laning matchup that has made matters a bit more difficult.
I think the tricky thing here for SK is that they need to find ways to actually be effective in the early game. A lot of their victories have been stealing basically winning positions from the enemy by playing better in fights, but counting on that against the G2 that converts leads so well is not something you can do. We need to see that same level of sharpness that we saw in the previous time they faced up against each other.
The winner of this game locks in groups, will hold on to first place alongside Team BDS. At the beginning of the season, Vitality and G2 were the teams expected to be in the final, expected to make the run, especially after seeing how Vitality performed with Photon in the top lane. Now I think I want to take a look at this particular matchup. SK could send a gigantic single, tie for versus BDS. Who will win this game, SK or G2?
I think it's going to be G2. G2's have some struggles as well, but I think with the way that SK's been playing right now, G2 just seems to have the edge.
I'm also Team G2 on this one. I think just how they convert leads is going to make SK's biggest strength turn into a weakness, potentially.
Well, I can't wait to see. I want to see SK pick up the win, surprise everybody, and make us go into this last 2 days with even more spiciness to play for. Right now, we're going to hit to the casters, Drakos and Caedrel, to take us into game.
Thank you very much, Trevor and friends, desk, colleagues. Welcome. We're Caedrel, Drakos, and the audience.
Yeah.
Woo! Thanks, audience. Good job. I've been told we have a minute or so until picks and bans. We've got 20 seconds. Never mind, audience. We're gonna play a game. We're gonna bring you in. We're gonna get your predictions. But instead, we'll get to the pick and bans as quick as possible. You know what I hope?
Tell me what you hope.
It's not scaling versus not scaling. In
Nice.
fact, I hope that there is no scaling whatsoever, and that it's just absolute big brawl fist fight 24/7.
No scaling allowed. You know
None.
what? Should we just walk over to their PCs and just start banning Azir? You go to SK, I'll go to G2. You ban Azir like Zeri and Victor or something.
Yeah.
And I'll ban all the other rubbish scaling stuff.
We're taking over.
Let's get it.
It's like a little Thunderstick Kit Kat heart to get us into picks and bans.
SK on blue side really powerful in this patch. You can target ban, and I feel like red side has locked bans like Annie. So if G2 decide to take that one away from SK, they haven't played it yet, I believe, other than mid, so we'll see how much of a flex it is, but there's the Gragas denial. G2 can flex that in all 3 roles. I feel like that's the story of G2's year. They've gone back to the 2019, just flex everything.
Absolutely. And that's kind of the version of G2 that I think people love to watch the most. See how SK want to respond to this? For now, we're sticking to pretty classic Gragas, Annie. Wouldn't be surprised to see a Rakan banned away. Varus going to get taken off the board as well.
Yeah, Xayah Rakan really prevalent. Ashe is another one, which we haven't seen too much. There's the Xayah. I wonder if Jayce is a good ban here on blue side for SK, or Elise. Something to stop the early game ball rolling. I think G2 might have to be the ones to ban Elise, actually. We'll see if SK play the game of chicken if they leave that one up. Yike will probably respond with things like the Vi or the Sejuani. Draven, oh, how could we forget about the Draven ban?
Glad to see it banned.
Need to take that one away from hands, or at least pick it away, one on the 2. So there's Draven ban. Elise is one that I've got off the top of my head here for G2. Jayce is up, so I feel like that's a steal for G2 on 1-2 if they want to flex that, play an AP jungler. That would be their bread and butter, because oftentimes AP jungle, double AD solo lanes is very skirmish heavy, mid-game power spike-ish. And that's what G2 love.
And I'd be really curious to see if they would actually go for the Jayce here as a potential flex. For now, Vi's taken off the board, so Jayce is still up and available, as well as kind of your pick of the litter of remaining AD carry champions. So the pool is getting smaller and smaller. But BrokenBlade on a champion that doesn't have reliable utility, that cannot fall behind gracefully, is something that I want to see before I believe it, because it has just been him suffering in lane phase and converting in team fights.
There's the Elise first pick. Something that's really cropping up in China in the LPL is Tristana Elise. Things like this. Tristana Elise Thresh, actually. Tristana mid. But that's been taken away now by SK. We'll see if they draft any kind of AD solo lane. Sertuss not really lean towards them, but there's the Jayce takeaway. No surprise. Gonna go for the Maokai as well. A lot of poke champs already. The thing I hate about the current meta is I feel like the Maokai nerfs, playing single AP jungle Maokai with double AD solo laners just doesn't do it for me, so we'll see if they change that up. But now SK have a few options. They can try to pick a solo lane here, or they can just go match full bot lane. Things like the Lucian Nami, the Zeri Lulu, you guys know it. It's our favorite. Here it comes again. We haven't seen it in years.
Lucian, Nami, together. Woo!
Could go Nautilus here if you're G2, and then play something like, I don't know, Kai'Sa, Philios. On 4-5, could also go for the Rakan, perhaps. Depends how they want to match up against this Nami lane. Sona is another one that does well.
I do like that SK have kind of given G2 an option here, which is you can match half of bot lane, but you can't match both.
Okay.
So instead, G2 are just going to go for blind solo lane? No? Okay. All right. Nautilus seems like a good call out, Caedrel. You predicted that one.
Yeah, I feel like keeping the Jayce flex alive is probably in your best interest. And yeah, not happy about that SK. They've actually dodged the game. Not really wanting to play against that Nautilus. No, I'm kidding. Something's happening with the draft. We'll get back in a second. -3 LP.
It's back. It's back.
It's like your client freezes for a second. You're like, oh, no, we're back. So G2 now can ban away 2 solo lanes. Renekton is an easy ban that you would think of to take away. Something like the Sion could be a good one if they're playing strong side bot.
But also with the composition that SK have drafted already, Sion not great. Sion really only good if you have something like the Azir in the mid lane to back it up. You just don't need that beefy front line with an AD carry like Lucian. It's not super high value.
Yeah, it's more like a safe blind.
Yeah. Because
you don't know where the Jayce is going. You can put the Sion into Jayce, kind of.
Oh, I do like that. That's a good point.
That's the idea. Malphite, I think, is also really powerful if they pick an AD champ on 4 and you take away Sylas. But they've taken away MF for now, so I expect double AD carry ban. With Nautilus, you're looking at things like Kai'Sa. You're looking at... I mean, they can play Zeri Nautilus, but not the best Zeri without an enchanter, but still it's just a powerful champion. Can help a little bit out with things like the poke as well. But yeah, expecting something along those lines. MF ban already come through. There's the Jax ban.
Okay, okay.
I'm not sure. I think this is Jayce mid if they're banning Jax. Normally Jayce is good into Jax. And we haven't seen a single game of Jayce from BrokenBlade yet, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him go something like Cassante, Kled on 5, and then them picking their AD carry on 4 here. It's just on NSK's hands. Do you want to play Azir Elise? It's not that powerful, but we saw that it can scale really well.
Yeah.
Azir is just good late game insurance, but the pairing is not ideal.
Samira, the final ban.
A little head back there from Hans. I wonder if that's something he was thinking of.
I mean, he's talked about it. It's basically the B version of Draven.
Yeah.
You know, when Draven's gone, you can pick it similar effects.
It has to be Kai'Sa, doesn't it? Unless you're playing a Kalista lane or something. That would be really scary to play against Kalista North Maokai. That's a bot dive. Ooh.
Yeah, okay. What are you going to give us? What's the option? Zeri seems safe. That would be...
You can't do Vayne.
There's
no way you can do Vayne. You can't don't give me that. Oh, Kalista. They are going to go for Kalista, so they are going to go heavy bot dive. I like it a lot. It's just whether it pays off, because the Elise can beat the Maokai 1v1. Normally you want the jungler that can win 1v1 in isolation. Oh yes, please, give it to me. There's no Sylas ban, but that means that the Jayce is forced top unless they're playing Sylas top. But yeah, SK have loads of options. They can go for something like Sion. They can go for something like Azir if they want to play it safe. They can also go a bit more aggressive with things like Akali if they want to make sure they can get this Kalista down.
Sion Azir.
Yeah,
Sion Azir.
I think this draft's just, yeah, very meta orientated.
You've got strong jungle early game, strong mid game, kind of early game from Lucian Nami. Sion, obviously scaling pick. You just need something to round out the rest of the composition.
But it's Sertuss, and he loves his Azir Akali. Sylas blind wouldn't be the best. I mean, yeah, Azir, Sion, safe,
the second you lock in Sion, if you don't lock in a control mage, I feel like you're troll easy. Okay, all right, full confidence. Yeah. I gotta respect it.
Akali's better for getting the Kalista down. The only worry is they have Nautilus, so it was Azir or Akali. I like the Akali a little bit more pressure on the Kalista. Now it's BrokenBlade's counter pick. Kled wouldn't surprise me. Gragas is banned, which makes it a little bit annoying. Cassante would be the easy option here. Just go Cassante into Sion. But maybe they want a faster paced game, and if they want a faster paced game,
Vayne top. Okay, what is happening?
Oh, yeah,
Cho'Gath.
Yeah, Cho'Gath. Ooh, like it a lot.
Okay, I like that a lot too.
So, funny enough, in the LCS, I remember it was Impact versus Tenacity. FlyQuest versus 100 Thieves. And Impact played Sion into Cho'Gath, and he said afterwards, I don't want to quote exactly what he said, but he said something along the lines of, Cho'Gath should win this matchup, but he was winning as Sion Impact, and the reason he was winning is because Tenacity on Cho'Gath took Comet, and if he takes this, you lose the lane. So hopefully BrokenBlade is going Grasp, which I think is what Impact was alluding to in terms of experience of the matchup and how it should go. You think back to like Season 7 when you played Sion Cho'Gath with Banner of Command, and both you and Minion Dematerializer, and you just sat there farming the whole game. That's exactly what's going to happen now. Both junglers are probably going to focus bot. The Elise needs to cover the Nautilus dives, and the Maokai wants to force them. So top lane is going to be a bit of a snooze fest, but we'll see what happens. I do think in isolation the Cho'Gath should win, but we'll see what happens. It doesn't really matter too much. They're both going to be tanky, and the Cho'Gath just helps you secure objectives. Kalista Cho'Gath together, if they lose a Baron or a Dragon, I think I'm going to take off my headset and do a backflip or something, because that's just absurd. But we'll see what happens. G2 need to start pressuring this early game.
Who can come out on top? Two teams fighting to match up against BDS. The battle for first. The other one going to drop down alongside Vitality after our game earlier today. G2 Esports versus SK Gaming. Will Caedrel will be forced to do a backflip. Can he do a backflip?
No, I can't. I can't even do a roly-poly, mate. It's last doom. I regret saying that, but yeah. The fans are ready. We're ready. Just about to jump into the game for the final game of the last weekend. SK versus G2. Ooh, Sion level 1s. You know how I love my Sion level 1s, Drakos. Oh. In the LPL, there was a 5v5 level 1. Those 3 kills.
Okay.
Will we get them here?
Level 1 analysis. Sion turbo broken.
Kalista.
Also
Turbo
very broken, yes.
The stand down, the stare down, nothing's gonna happen.
Just flexing to pose off.
And again, just to remind everyone at home, winner of this will tie with BDS in first place, and they will lock themselves into group stage. So relieves all the pressure and stress of the next 2 games, knowing that you're already locked in. Of course, you'll still be fighting for first, but yeah, just important to make sure they're locked, they're happy, they're done. We've already got BDS in our top 8. Winner here will be locked as well, so we'll have 2 of our 8 teams after day 1.
It's a pretty big deal as we get later and later into the weekend, and something that we keep our eye on is seeding becomes more important, but for now, obviously, the bigger focus is still on seeing who will lock. Quick stat from our wonderful team, 5-0 for Sertuss this year on Akali thus far.
Undefeated.
He's scary. You can see why I picked it. I compositionally still might have preferred the Azir, but overall, you know, you give someone comfort against Caps, I think it is going to pay off. While in the top lane, we see the Sizzle lane. They're big boys with polar bear arms. They're fighting.
He's got Grasp as well, BrokenBlade, so they'll help him in the trades. So Yike's doing Raptors red. I think he'll go down towards Gromp afterwards. Going to Krugs feels like, you know, you're on the other side of the map. Normally, the joke in pro players, if you're going to Krugs, you need a visa for that because you're on the other side of the map, especially when you're playing Kalista bots. So hopefully he goes to Gromp after this. And then the idea for G2 is Cap stacks mid waves, hovers towards bot, and then looks for dives on this Kalista lane where they will also be stacking waves. So that's the worry I have for SK here. The Akali pick, great. You'll probably be able to kill Kalista in fights, but can you stop the Jayce from being able to pressure the entrance of your red buff? That ward there on the blue side, you can see it. Just a little bit lower. They need to make sure that they can control this area here, G2. Ours observers highlighting it.
Yeah.
So 3 lanes, it's nice to see. BrokenBlade has top push, Caps is stacking mid waves, G2 stacking bot waves, and I think Markoon is pathing down as well to make sure he can cover this threat.
Trying to keep an eye, keep track. These early objectives, the little things that can add up to so much more as we progress further and further into the game, but good diligence in placing early vision means easy tracking of Markoon for now, mitigating what the Elise can do early on. Of course, Maokai, a very strong ganking champion, but not quite as much early power as the Elise can bring in skirmishes.
Information is everything at the moment, and G2 know exactly where the Elise is. That ward on Raptors will spot her out,
Nice
knowing
combo.
that red is done. So that ward from Yike that he placed just a little bit earlier on his own entrance red might spot Markoon going for this top dive. Now, he does sell his bot lane out a little bit, but if he gets this first blood and can not lose anything on the bot side of the map, that would be ideal. If they spot him here, ooh, that's going to be a trigger for G2. Yike's probably just going to start sprinting towards bot side here and looking for a play. Caps is taking a recall. See what he does after this blue buff.
Yike needs to finish clearing the jungle before he can sprint anywhere. It's a bit slow here for the Maokai right now. Some of that early clear speed hit a lot over the last few patches.
Yeah, not a good wave to dive on it. SK.
Nice hook, big damage onto Exakick. That's massive. Exhaust already going down, so the response from SK is pretty weak. Now it's DOS taking a massive chunk as well. That's huge.
It is, because they were holding the wave next to their tower, which is ideal to stop dives, but now you've just got hooked and lost both your summoners. You're just going to get zoned away from this tower. There's no chance you're ever getting this wave. Markoon's on Gromp on a ward, so G2 know exactly what they're doing. And yeah, Exakick's just going to have the base. And what Hans is doing here is, as I said, that he stops his recall. He's going to get this next wave. Could have taken a base there, but he wants to make sure he can get towards... I think Berserker Greaves is everything for Kalista on her first base. If she can get that tier 2 boots on first base, that's perfect for her.
And this is massive, because now not only have you taken away some of those summoner spells, you've denied so much XP, so much gold from the side of SK, and getting to back on an actually good item in the form of Berserkers, if he is able to finish that one, versus a single longsword and a refillable. Just huge advantage for the next few minutes of laning until the side of SK getting another recall.
You only got the Vamp Scepter, so
not the worst. But Boots and Vamp Scepter, not bad.
Yeah, Markoon will take away a camp, so good early game from G2 so far. What they'll do is rinse and repeat. And DOS is now around mid. Not much kill pressure here, unless they can land the Cocoon and chain CC with the bubble, but Mickey's on his way, Yike's on his way. They know they need to cover Caps, get him some vision around mid so he can keep pushing in these waves, because for now, he has to play a little bit safe.
No. And of course, whenever we talk about this matchup, we're always going to talk about junglers. The last time these guys met in best of one, it was Markoon on this Elise, busting it out for one of the first times to really show off. And like on the opposite side, obviously jungler has just had so much hype around him. Naturally, the catalyst that we look at. So far, really all the action has been generated by individual skill from Hansama and Mickey, but as they continue their clears, we'll see what they can get done on the map.
Yike still hovering on the bot side, lost his Raptors a little bit earlier on, but this setup of vision is what G2 need. Pinks on the bot side of the map, try to control this entrance so they can keep hovering in between the lanes. And Yike's just farming and looking for windows. You know, looking to punish SK when they step up too far, if G2 want to hold this wave, or if they want to look for dives, G2 when they can stack the waves. But good bot side vision for now, will spot out Markoon. I think Markoon is recognized, I don't have mid push, I lose 3v3. I'll try, oh here it is. the classic. Level 6 is exactly what I want to see from the Sion. Get this wave in, ult under tower, try to get a kill, TP back top. Let's see if they can execute it, or if they can try and find a counter gank.
G2 are pinging bot side. I think they might know this is coming.
They might know this is coming. They haven't seen the Sion TP back just yet, but they're 4-man playing this. So this is a lot of cards on the table here for SK to salvage this bot side and make sure the Lucian can get ahead. Wave's very small. SK need to push this wave in as quick as possible. And then we'll see if Irrelevant can land onto a target. Caps has TP if he wants to cover it, but he's got really low mana. Markoon's going to get spotted by Yike.
Good
They're committing to it.
Full commit now. Here comes the Sion. Mickey's going to get caught out. Can he buffer the hook? Yes, but it might not be enough. A clean takedown now coming through. Meanwhile on the top side, BrokenBlade denying so much. But Caps is here on the bot side. What else can G2 get done? Caps going in, but he's out of mana. They're buying time, they're buying space. Sertuss is here as well. They're trading so much just to get BrokenBlade more solo time on the top lane.
So the good news is SK managed to pull a kill out of that. And Irrelevant can TP up and it should be alright. The bad news is Exakick and DOS didn't get anything out of that, and Hans can still catch the wave. So it's a kill for the Sion, but it doesn't transition into too much for the actual carries that SK need the gold to go onto.
Wait. Okay, quick itemization side note. I've been waiting to see this for so long. Irrelevant. First item, Abyssal Mask. This item is broken. It has been broken for so long. And like many items that have been broken forever, they're only good in ARAM for most people. But here, with an Elise, with an Akali, he's going Abyssal first. Catalyst, an excellent laning item. Irrelevant, yes. I love it. I want to see more of it. Perfect when you have a double AP jungle mid.
Especially against Cho'Gath, that'll help out a little bit. AP damage in that lane. AP jungler as well, that's all he'll be doing within the early stages. And SK will be losing this dragon. Markoon needs to be
Caught out
careful.
here. This is going to be big damage. He's not even getting a chance to go into the air. Not respecting the all-in potential here from the Kalista not.
Big burst. Nice flash W there from Yike. There was a world where Markoon could either flash away or repel, wants to make sure they can get that kill, and it goes onto Hans. So bot lane going in G2's favor now. Mid lane also going in G2's favor. Hexdrinker picked up against the Elise Akali to make sure that the Jayce is safe. They'll pick up this dragon. I think they'll look to start contesting this Herald that's spawning in 10 seconds time. Markoon needs to clear up towards the top side of the map. Mikyx looking for a hook onto DOS.
Come back. Hansama level 6. Hook going a little bit wide. Nice sidestep coming in from DOS. Bone plating mitigating a lot of Hansama's initial trade, but the exhaust coming down. They are full committing to this play. Markoon is on the way though. G2, if they overstay their welcome, Yike clean dodge back to the minion to get away from the cocoon. Now it's full retreat. DOS flashing forward. The knockup is there. Mickey trying to turn the fight, but he's just giving his own life away. No, Hansama there with the Fate's call to keep him safe.
Nice pathing by Markoon, instantly runs bot, recognizing that the SK bot lane wanted to fight, manages to match Yike after the dragon take, and they get themselves a kill. Nice try by Yike on the dodge, but DOS lands the flash bubble. A lot of summoners blown from the SK bot lane. And Herald is still up. BrokenBlade is trying to keep that top push. Yike's moving out towards mid. Let's see what Mickey does and Hans does, because bot lane's in an even state in terms of wave. Securing that Herald would be great for the Cho'Gath, get him a stack, use that Herald to snowball the Kalista. The question is, can they look to force it? Does Mickey invest his time in getting this Herald and giving Hans, or leaving Hans alone for a wave or two?
Yeah. And I love the absolute stack race that is happening on the top side, Sion versus the Cho'Gath. Of course, in terms of Sion, you're seeing the raw health numbers there, whereas Cho'Gath, you're just seeing the stacks, and the stacks from Cho'Gath are going to get more valuable as he gets more points in the feast, but just a battle of health stacking on the top side.
Caps has demolished. Sertuss going all in.
The knockback here. Big damage can come in. Hex Flash going to get interrupted. Mickey now going to be in trouble as Markoon looks to finish off this kill. Mickey caught out by the bubble. Mickey taken down, and Markoon now on the chase. Caps trying to heal as much as he can. Oh, but here comes Irrelevant.
Flash.
Caps flash over the wall, making it out safety. Yike.
Irrelevant flash.
I need to burn the ult to disengage, but they just don't have any space. Yike desperately trying to get away, trying to get back to BrokenBlade. He will manage to make the escape, but 4-1 the kill score now as SK just finding pick after pick after pick.
Mickey on a ward there. Markoon punishes it. Sertuss has the R2 to get over the wall. 4 kills to 1. Doesn't look like they're going for the Herald though. Instead, Markoon's actually going to clear out his camp, so moving towards this bot side. Not confident enough to do so. With Yike being on the map, BrokenBlade having top push, Mikyx respawning in time. It looks like they want to drop this Herald and sprint bot. So what's the plan here from SK? They're going to lane gank and look for a dive onto Hansama. Mickey, you can see him on a ward there from SK, is running down towards this bot side. So the trade-off is plates if they can get them. Oh, just spotted.
Oh no.
Markoon should know that he was spotted there. Those melee creeps are so far up, but he doesn't at the moment. He is unaware.
Oh, this is rough.
I think he needs to proxy though. He needs to walk with Lucian on this wave and try to zone them away.
If he walks out of this bush, he knows. He knows. Okay, he's fine.
Nah, not gonna get anything. So
he's stepping up.
Mickey. Yeah, I think he's fake pressuring that.
Yeah.
So yeah, SK get nothing. They get kills, but they don't get an objective. But goals onto the Sion makes him very tanky. He's got that Abyssal Mask like you highlighted. And yeah, Caps lost his flash, which is really important. See if Markoon and Sertuss can set up on him a little bit later on. Dragon's still 2 minutes away. But Yike has this Herald. He'll look to use that bot.
Trying to find the options. See if that's where they want to snowball. And I think the credit to SK, and again, credit to Irrelevant, he's opted for the Sion so many times. This season he played a lot more carries, but obviously in Winter it was the big pick. And I think Irrelevant is a guy who we've been consistently feeling his impact, despite the fact that he gets almost no jungle proximity, 7th overall. But he never dies. He never goes down. He always finds a way to impact the map. And this guy, I think, I have to give credit more and more to is being a top laner who seems to be able to do it all. He's had great Jax games. He's had great Sion games. And this is a guy who I didn't really have my eye on coming out of Misfits. I thought he was all right, but he's really come alive on this SK lineup, and I think it's just doing so well. Yeah,
the Misfits show was all Neon and VTO, wasn't it, when they made their run to try to make it to through the playoffs. But yeah, Irrelevant was just kind of the weak side. I'll pick anything, let me get counter pick, never come top, and that's working really well for SK. Actually finding plays while also being on that weak side is just so important. Finding that balance is insane if you can do that. Just shows how reliable he is. G2 trying to force something down here. TP's coming up for both top laners, looking for that demolished stack, and he'll get it. Knock up lands though.
Well, just a bit of trade back. Tower shot, not going to connect. Ooh, really just...
I've missed these fights.
Just beating the hell out of each other. Just little effect.
Beating the hell out of each other. Cap's going to try and get this mid push. Drake in 50 seconds. I think both top laners ideally want to take a base here and try to fight this next dragon. Does Irrelevant do the same thing here? Does he base after this top wave, save his TP and look to ult bot? Because this is where G2 want to force.
Oh, Jackshow coming in for BrokenBlade. It looks like he's going to TP back to top lane, which means Irrelevant could try to make a play on the bottom side. Mikyx caught out again by the bubble, which is taking a bit of poke.
Let's watch Irrelevant. I think his decision here will basically decide what happens on this bot side of the map, because I think if he doesn't join his team, G2 should be able to pick up this dragon when they come out of base.
Oh, Markoon trying to interrupt the back there. They've got decent information courtesy of the little Spectre thrown out there by Hansama.
Yeah, Irrelevant stayed, I think. He's lost a lot of control of these top waves, so he might have to stay top, so it's going to have to be a 4v4. Does Exakick have his mythic in base? I don't know if he does. Doesn't look like he's got a lot of gold income. And he's going to try to stop the base. Oh, he got DOS on that.
But DOS, homie with the body block there. Force. Gale Force for Lucian going to be pretty big here. Strength of not opting to stop on the tier 2 boots, whereas Kalista really has to.
Sertuss has the rocket belt as well. Big spikes here for SK. I think they want to take a fight now. Fighting this dragon looks a lot easier, just a case of whether they can get here in time. BrokenBlade can't really join the fight. TP back from Caps. SK will be late, but can they force it? BrokenBlade's just going to proxy for now, knowing that it's a 4v4 on the bot side of the map. Exakick still a little bit far away. Sertuss on a pink. Herald procced, trying to get that towards mid. A lot of Kalista stacks here. Smite available for both junglers.
Herald just coming down in the river.
See what Sertuss can do on this flank. Cap's trying to push him back here to try to buy space for hands. Hook's going to miss. Oh, here comes Irrelevant. He doesn't even based. He's going to want the Caps here.
Going in on the Caps. Caps flashing over the wall, but he's just going to keep the train rolling all night long. Look at that Sion go from downtown, and SK going to be very happy to take their free Drake, but Cap's going to make sure that it's not too free as he starts to push into the mid lane, trying to get one more plate down. Meanwhile, on the top side, Cho'Gath breaking through that top lane tower.
Oof. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? They get a kill on Dragon, but they've just lost 3 or 4 plates in mid. They've lost 3 or 4 plates in top as well. And the solo laners of G2 will be the winners of this play. But they managed to get the kill onto Yike. They managed to get this dragon, so they've stopped the dragon stacking. What soul will it be? If it's something like Hextech or
Cloud.
It's always Cloud.
We got 3 clouds today? No, we got an ocean.
We got one ocean.
2 clouds, 1 ocean.
2 clouds, 1 ocean. So let's see how both teams play around this soul. Still very, very far away before anyone picks up a soul. Towards 30 minutes is when a team will probably be able to pick that up if they get all the remainder of the dragons. But G2's early game, it's gone okay, I would say. They've given up a lot of kills, but they're still maintaining a gold lead through plates. I think the Kalista and the Jayce are the ones they really need to get ahead. Irrelevant has base and TP'd back towards this top side. And the wet noodle fight continues.
I'm going to tell my kids this was the Godzilla movie.
What is it, like Orin vs. Cassandra Godzilla 2? Sure. The second film.
Yeah.
Vin Diesel comes down with the Sion ult, drifts it through, misses Caps because he flashes over the wall. Yike here could flash, but maybe he's scared that Mikyx gets hit, but they have the Fates call, so...
He's also on the other side of the wall, so I can see how he might be convinced for a brief moment that he's not going to get knocked up there.
Massive hitbox lands onto the Maokai. No towers have fallen yet. G2 need to crack open one of these towers in mid or bot so they can start controlling the rest of the map.
Aww.
He took blue buff there, BrokenBlade. Looks like when he was proxying away, he took Markoon's blue, which means, of course, he can push infinitely and just toss out his spells.
And no matter who you're rooting for, Exakick and Hansama will both be on PGL tonight, which is exciting.
Oh. poke damage from Caps. And the saplings sting.
Yeah, it's tier already at 255. Got the coal fully stacked too, so Gold feeling good at this point. 1.1k in his favor. Actually, you know what? I'll take it back. I only want to watch top lane observers. Don't show me anything else. That's all I want to watch.
Just want to see
BrokenBlade.
Broken
Let's just live here.
Spam out Qs.
Let's live here. Here it is. Yeah, top lane. Ooh, sick roll. Look at them go.
Just farming.
Stack and grasp. Waiting to auto each other.
Throwing out spells.
Jack show going.
A little bit of dodgeball.
There it is.
Popping a ward down just in case the enemy jungler's there, but does he care anyway?
Who wants to watch like Camille versus Aurelia? Ugh.
Yeah, just smashing their keyboards. This is way more soothing. I feel like these are like relaxing rain sounds and Sion versus Cho'Gath.
This is the lo-fi beats to study to laning phase.
It is. So G2 are going to use their top push and use their 5-man stack on this Herald. Sertuss a little bit far away, doesn't have the TP, has the level advantage. Irrelevant.
No one should be able to take these objectives from them if they don't want to. They have a Cho'Gath and a Kalista.
Yike gets it. Markoon's not thinking about any form of engage. Relevant's going to back away, so that gives SK the track into mid. Do they try to force down this mid tier one? Because G2 are going to have to go the long way around. Power's pretty healthy, but with 4 members, yeah, might be able to get in down in time. Need to be careful of an engage.
Okay, they get the Herald, and because of the pressure on top side, they don't have to use the Herald to break top side. So far, they're up a Herald in an even tower trade.
Look what they're doing though, G2. They're probably just going to Herald top, actually. And because all of SK were mid and bot, they're like, you know what, you've got no TP on Akali, you've got no track into top side, we're going to take this top tier 2.
And they have so much CC to stop the Sion from clearing the wave, which is pretty big.
Do they get collapsed on though? Do they get engaged on?
Instantly gonna all Caps taking a big chunk of damage. That silence is clutch to stop the follow-up. Is relevant again, just big damage here. Tidal wave coming in.
Yeah, Caps should be alright then, shouldn't they? They get the top tower. They don't get the local gold for it, but they manage to get the objective that they came for. But now on the cross map, Sertuss knows he doesn't have TP. Runs bot instead to try to pressure this bot tier 1. I don't think he'll pick it up on this wave, but perhaps on the next one. Relevant's trying to slow down bases. Bit greedy though.
Tickling the towers. Relevant flashes out, but he gets an ulti for it in exchange.
Does it hit him? Does it hit him?
Just the edge!
Oh, he's fine. He's out. So he's found 3 people. That means Sertuss can definitely get this bot tower. Caps can't TP in yet. And he traded his flash for a tower there. Not bad.
Overall, pretty positive. Take a look at the gold, though. G2, 2k in the lead for now. Sertuss finally going to break that one down and get it at least a little bit closer. Only a 1k difference, less than. So really a neck-and-neck game.
Yep, just responses from both sides. SK responding with punishing G2 on objectives, G2 forcing objectives because they have the comp for it, and then just kind of sidetracking away where SK decide to put their members in terms of finding objectives on the top side. SK responding bot. Now it looks like bot tier 1 is their next focus here for G2. They're going to play mid to bot. Dragons in 59 seconds. Want to start building towards that soul. And I think SK are the ones who can always decide, do we fight it? Because G2 will always force it. They're playing Kalista Jayce. They'll always just walk into an objective and say, do you want to fight? And SK can always say yes or no. Here, for example, they can drop this Drake and play for top tower. But looking at their position on the map, they probably want to fight it.
At this point, wave pressure there. G2 just trying to take control of the bot side jungle. Caps pushing that wave in as well so they can break open bot lane tier 1. And then maybe potentially transition that pressure to Drake. We'll see. Right now they're fishing for a pick, but they're fishing on vision.
Yeah, bot tower's down. Caps can join the team. Yes, TP. Relevant knows they're here.
Caps could potentially be a little bit late for the fight. Relevant going to find the knock on a 2. That's going to be big. Mikyx already been forced to take out of the fight with the fake small. Exakick not in the fight quite yet. Keep your eyes on that Lucian. What else can he do? Irrelevant ult again. 3-man Q, but still. Oh, they're not getting anything back. G2 still standing strong, and Hansama is out for blood. Markoon going to flash over the wall. G2 taking the fight with ease. Irrelevant hitting the CC, but not finding the damage to support it.
SK opt into it. G2 slam dunk, 3 kills. DOS gets caught at the start of the fight. That's a massive damage nerf onto the Lucian when you have a mandate Nami by your side. No Nami ult either. It looked good initially because they almost got Mikyx and Yike down. Fade's Call saved Mikyx, and then no damage follow-up onto Yike. The lockdown onto Sertuss was insane.
Hooked. Cleanse forced out. Hansama still stepping up.
Yeah, get this tower here. You can walk up a bit. Try and play a little bit of fire with fire. Markoon no flash, but DOS is back. TP.
Way in. Hook. TP now coming in. SK desperate to get something back. They can try to turn this one. Exakick still standing for now, flashing out of the range, trying to get away from the spears as much as he can. And instantly Sertuss is ready to turn. Another TP coming in. What is the play left for SK at this point?
2 down, 30 seconds. Baron would be ideal, but Markoon is low. Exakick is low. Did they just flip it? Did they just send it? Caps can just land a shock blast onto Exakick and he's dead. They have some healing. They know Caps is down here somewhere. I think Irrelevant's... Ooh, Caps can... Irrelevant's not coming with them to this top side of the map. He's going for bot wave, so SK can't go for Baron now. Caps will get spotted by the tier 2. Ping's coming down. TP behind them as well. Are they routed? Can they get some kills here?
Caps thinks they've started the Baron, but they haven't. Backing off. BrokenBlade now coming in. Markoon's going to be in trouble here. He needs to get away from the Cho'Gath. Sertuss going to go into the Shroud. Get away from the Cho'Gath just briefly. They have to go up, go down. Markoon has to sacrifice his life, and now it's G2's turn.
Oh, yeah.
G2 can turn right back to the Baron. Again, they have the Cho. The Cho will have Feast. They have Hansama. With all those spears in the Ren, there should be no way for SK to steal this.
Yeah, this Baron's gone. Sertuss is basing without TP. Exakick can't really do much. No summoners, but Irrelevant's going to try and walk in.
Who is he tanking for, though, is the question. Right now, it's nobody. And he will die.
It's about sending a message, Drakos, saying that I know that you're there and I'll die to prove it. And it achieves nothing. G2 will get Baron. There's nothing that SK could do. Irrelevant just checking to make sure, and yeah, they're there. So G2, despite losing a few members on that mid-wave, Hans flashing forwards, trying to get Exakick, getting punished. They didn't have the health bars to force down the Baron, but they kind of split up there. A bit of indecisiveness from SK. Irrelevant went bot. 4-man went topside as if they're faking a Baron. And then the TP behind and caps on the right side means that SK, the only way they can run is up, but then you're going into Yike, so they're kind of sandwiched here. Silence was great because Sertuss gets chunked out, even though he has the ult. He can't really commit now because he's on 30% HP. Markoon goes up. What goes up must come down. No flash, He dies, jungle's down, and then Irrelevant dies shortly after. Baron's gone. So what can G2 do with this Baron? Because they've already got 5 towers. The only thing that's left is this mid-outer tower. Cracking the inhibitors would be a little bit risky, but SK don't have that much wave clear.
Certainly don't. That's a struggle. Part of the reason why we might have expected to see in his ears, it obviously can shore up some of that weakness. They instead opted for a more explosive composition, and Sertuss still 2-1-1. See what he can do to stop this Baron siege. SK is still willing to step forward and at least lay down a little bit of a poke. Exakick almost going to get hooked, but won't.
BrokenBlade just stands there and tanks the whole thing. Exakick mode saying you're balanced. And now here comes the push. 4-1 caps on top side. No TP yet. Yike's there to cover him. Looking for this top inhib tower.
Credit to Caps. Caps on this Jayce has been a monster this game, winning his lane, playing with excellent patience in the previous play. And now the engage coming out, Mikyx flashing and hitting a hook into the wall.
Close. They have a wave though. See if they commit to this. Does BrokenBlade want to stay there?
Relevant still walking up, hooking the tank doesn't mean a whole lot. BrokenBlade still the frontliner. Massive damage now going down under BrokenBlade, but they can't quite finish the job. Hansama going to be in trouble. Keep your eyes on Sertuss. Sertuss is going to be big. Sertuss finding one. Back into the Shroud. He's safe for now. Hook from Mikyx landing on Exakick, but Exakick will make it out. Immediately the knockup from Sion is there, and SK are taking the fight. It's on the edge of the BrokenBlade. Flash in. Find the feast. Nom. Irrelevant running. The knockup is there. They're going to burn through this Sion, but Caps, it's a bit split. He's got his eyes on the prize. He wants to take out Markoon. He wants to take out Doss. He wants to take out everybody, but he has to pick one target. He hasn't killed anybody yet. He's going to go down. He's going to try to get a bit of damage back. He's going golden. The Hex Trigger's starting to fall away. Sertuss now on the way. He's not getting anything. He's just getting embarrassed in the base. Can he escape? Oh, he got him. Sertuss now turning back. The Shroud is gone. Surely he has no way out of this one. He needs to get away from this Cho'Gath. Going back in, Portabelt out, silence there, sidestep back, the movement's clean, but not clean enough.
He's dancing on him! The Cho'Gath! BrokenBlade to carry in this fight. That was the reason it's risky to go over the top of him.
Yep.
It turns
100%.
into a bloodbath underneath the tower, and eventually G2 come out ahead. Very scuffed, but it works. BrokenBlade tanks the tower on purpose with Gargoyle. I think he's saying, let's take a fight, I'm tanking the tower. But they can't get the tower down. Ult lands onto Exakick, but let's watch Sertuss ease onto BrokenBlade. I think he's going to probably ult through him in a second with Protobelt over Hans, pops the Shroud, and then Hans is as good as dead. Pulls back Mikyx, but not in time. And here it looks great for SK. Straight through 2 members, Caps is forced back, Sertuss is alive. They managed to get Mikyx as well, but here BrokenBlade makes the big turn happen. Flash, eat onto the Lucian, no carry left. Sertuss forced to run away as well. And yeah, a lot of mechanical plays here, just a lot of movement involved. Doss flashing the Q Hydra combo, Markoon trying to kite away from Caps, repelling his auto attack, and then Zhonya's to try and buy time for Sertuss.
Comes down, the spiders proc the Hex Drinker.
But then eventually here, his Q in range form actually gets the kill onto Markoon as he's ticking away from the red buff. And then Sertuss, not much he can do.
As we go back to live, take a look at the damage in that last team fight.
Oh, bye-bye.
Oh, that's going to be, that's it for Sertuss. No way out of that one. G2 finding the pick that they need. I was just about to talk about how good he played alongside Caps. Yeah, but this time he's getting picked off.
Had vision on the Akali through the Shroud. And now Caps has TP, so he's going to push in, get this mid tower. Irrelevant's trying to answer with some kind of top push, but he's going to have to base soon. Caps might be able to base and TP back if they want. Exit objective is the Dragon in 5 seconds time on the spawn. 20 seconds on Sertuss. This should be pretty easy. The greedy play here for G2 is running through the base to top of him, but I think they're going to engage instead.
They might go for the greedy play because Markoon gets knocked up again. The CC from this team is so hard to deal with. Doss getting locked up on the backside. Irrelevant, the only one who can comfortably step forward. Exakick totally is on the way. Mikyx from downtown. He will trade 1-for-1. Irrelevant buying as much space for Exakick as he can, but he doesn't have the range. He can't get in close enough to hit the targets.
Sertuss in 1 second. They have to back. They have to back away. BrokenBlade and Caps have TP, but no Baron-empowered recalls means it'll take them too long to get waves re-established on this map. Need to go towards this Dragon and pick it up. They're TPing in here. That's going to be Sertuss and Irrelevant. I think that's double TP, actually. No, it's just irrelevant. Sertuss is right behind him. Now, can they corner
them?
I don't think they can. Lucian's not really healthy enough to do so.
And this is the most obnoxious part about Maokai. They don't even have the vision set up to have perfect information there. They've got the saplings. They can deny so much. And now G2 just going to take the third Drake. It's not hugely important to the state of the game, but not giving SK an opportunity to pick up an objective bounty does matter. 9K gold lead. Extra stat closer to that Cloud Soul. And I gotta say, this is, when you look at Caps, he's 30 CS ahead. He's 2-2-6. He's 3.6K ahead individually. I feel like this man has gotten every single tower. They have given him so much money to just funneled gold into this Jayce, and it is really paying off.
I wonder how much the first strike's given him as well. The Demolish has been playing a big part in getting those side lane towers, and he's been their side laner for the majority of the game. BrokenBlade is a very tanky boy. I don't know if you want to fight that.
He does.
Okay, Markoon.
He does.
Just gonna say hello.
Again, I'm loving the thick boy gaming today. We got the Mal fight earlier. We got the Cho'Gath versus the Sion.
You top tank meta, baby.
You top tanks.
Oh, DOS. That's a dead Nami.
Oh, does not hit the bubble. It is going to get picked off here.
Yeah, Baron in 35 seconds. That should be easy pickup for G2. No need to play on waves. They'll push them out, yes, but they're going to do the exact same thing as they did last time. Start up this Baron, and SK are going to have to walk in on a 4v5.
And it's a difficult game now for SK to play out. It's really hard to find an isolated pick. In individual 1v1s, you aren't really that strong comparatively to the likes of Caps, at least at this point in the game. And you can't kill BrokenBlade. Hansama's always with Mikyx, so options are slim.
They really are. They really, really are. SK don't really have the damage at this point. Their lockdown is just too much, G2. When you're playing Akali Lucian, very short range, have to commit forwards. So yeah, easy Baron, SK can't contest. You know what that means, right? It's another stack for Cho'Gath.
Let's do
it. Towards 13.
13.
Oh yeah, everyone just leave the pit. Let them do their business.
Let him get it.
Yeah.
Oh, he's so big. I mean, this is like, you know when you have your friends that feed their cats too much?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and you're like, oh Lord, he's a-coming.
That is exactly what I was
hit that point.
Yeah. So, top push coming in for G2. They've got Baron buffed up creeps, top wave coming in, mid wave coming in.
Never update his visuals, it's so good. Just look at his animation. What's he doing? Why is he waving his arms like that? SK are trying to figure it out while they hold on to their base. Not a lot of options here. Irrelevant, not going to back up, trying to clear the wave as best they can. But G2, with the big beefy front line, are a hard team to stop. The poke going to continue to come out from Caps. They're just focused on the inhibitors right now. But Irrelevant trying to get the fight kicked off, looking for an option on the Caps. Caps flashing out to safety. The wave can hit so many members, but not going to hit Caps. Hansama still stranded strong. Irrelevant getting knocked back, interrupted. Sertuss on the backside. Will it be enough? Sertuss going golden. There's no more Shroud to protect him. He's going to get knocked back. He's going to get eaten alive, and the fight will keep going as BrokenBlade manages to find the feast onto Irrelevant. Caps 1v1ing the zombie Sion and hit him with it.
What is that dance? I need to know the name of it because BrokenBlade is just doing it to them.
You don't have 4 arms. It's impossible for you to replicate SK. Oh, there's nothing left. G2.
Yeah.
Well played.
It's over. G2.
Yeah, it's a GG.
They're just too tanky.
Come here.
There's nothing else they can
do. You go left, I go right. Go left.
Is it like this?
Yeah. Cho'Gath.
Oh my god, we have to reenact that one day or something. But yeah, G2 happy with that win. BrokenBlade. A little bit of criticism towards his lane phase, but I think yeah, he did his job. Full tank.
Yeah, and I think, again, I think the way G2 put so many resources on the Caps, let him be the one that was splitting and picking up towers until he had 1 or 2 items, was really big. And again, I think SK, with the Akali pickup, clearly confidence in Sertuss' ability to execute, and it looked okay at multiple points, but harder and harder as the front line gets bigger and bigger to really execute on that.
And that's the thing, you go back to draft, when we were talking about that 4-5, they could have gone Azir Sion if they really just want to play scaling front to back, and maybe that would have helped them melt through this front line, but then it would have taken away a lot of pressure that they have on the Kalista, on the kill pressure on the Kalista. So it's a trade-off. Can he pull it off is the question, and G2 managed to stop them. Lots and lots of lockdown managed to stop the Akali.
Definitely was the case. We see G2 get the last of their high fives here. All right, fine, boys. All right, fine. Fine. Well earned.
Going through us now. I mean, they basically high-fived everyone in the entire crowd. Hans is having none of it. BB's a great high-fiver, I have to
BB is a good high-fiver. We should have shown him our Cho'Gath dance.
Maybe we can get him involved in our Cho'Gath dance.
Maybe he'll stand over. Just come over here and do the Cho'Gath.
Can we just get like BB and Hans to do it together or something?
I think we should do that. But we'll see if we can make that happen. We're kind of just spitballing live. At the end of the day, our top 4 remains still close, but now SK are down in that very middle of the pack, where the teams are really going to need to start finding ways to separate each other alongside Koi, alongside Astralis, alongside Vitality now, whereas top of the standings, it's G2 and it's BDS. I think that battle is going to be an important. Player of the game at LEC on Twitter. BrokenBlade, Caps, Hansama.
What do you fancy? Full tank or?
I actually don't know. I wanted to say BB because we could do the dance again, and that's what they're pointing.
I think they're trying to point at him to do.
You want to
what
do
have we done? What have we caused?
Cho'Gath dance?
No, he's not going to do it. Maybe another day. Maybe we'll get it off camera.
Well, you can vote for who you want. Super fun game. I think shout out to SK. They did find a few opportunities there, but ultimately those team fights, the Kalista Nautilus really coming together to make sure that Mikyx could dive really deep, even if he flash hooked over a few too many walls.
Yeah, it's just about send. You just got to send it sometimes, and hands is like his ejection button.
Yeah.
Like you're flying a plane, you're about to crash, hands is there, boop,
boop,
straight out of there. Save them on the 3v3s on
the
bot.
ejector seat.
Yeah,
it worked out.
They should just rename Kalista ults from Fate's Call to ejector seat.
You get a robot Kalista, and then you could do it.
And you Kalista skin, and when you bind them, they get like a parachute.
Yep. Ideas with us, but enough ideas with us. Let's send it over to Frankie and Caps standing by after that G2 win.
Thank you very much, guys. Really enjoyed that game and the cast. I really enjoyed Caps' dad just asking me to dance from the sidelines as well. No pressure when your dad is watching you do interviews. I know you're used to it by now, but what's it like having the dad buff today?
It feels good, right? We get the win, get it going. I think we have good win rate this year with my dad here, so keep hitting up.
Everyone in the studio loves having Caps' dad here. It's always a joy to have him in the studio with us. How did you feel, though, going into the game now, about BB taking your Cho'Gath?
Yeah, I mean, he really wants to play it. I was hoping maybe he would take the Jayce. I've played it already plenty of times, but the Cho'Gath went top lane. It's fine. I'm used to it.
When did you decide in the draft who was going to take what?
I mean, basically, when we picked the Cho'Gath, right? Because we saw the picks, and we really want to be the big Cho'Gath, and I'm fine just shooting some I guess like shock rays from.
He was a big boy. There was something quite entertaining as well. Also, well, I say entertaining. It was also quite brutal. The base fight in the mid game where he decided to dance over the poor dead bodies of SK. Are you a dancer?
I wouldn't say that.
I wouldn't
say that. I think maybe in game I can do some dances, but in real life probably not.
Okay, well maybe you can give us a dance in the match of the week tomorrow because it's going to be against Fnatic. And I mentioned this earlier to Humanoid that Reckless himself said he didn't expect this matchup to be, I guess, so hotly contested at the start of the split. So what do you think about tomorrow's match?
I mean, I think Fnatic is looking better, right? I think 3-game win streak, I believe. I'm not actually sure, but I know they won today.
It's 3-game win streak.
And they're looking a lot better. I love playing against Fnatic. I think it's a shame what happened last split, and I'm hoping they will make both top 8. I hope we beat them tomorrow, but then they also still make top 8, and then we can even play them in the BO3s, BO5s. It's always a fun matchup.
It's a really difficult thing to predict, I guess, who will not be making it through to the group stage right now. What do you think about the teams that are sitting at the bottom of the table, I should say? Obviously, Fnatic, they're starting to make their way out of there, but we've got Excel, we've got Team Heretics as well. What are you kind of thinking at the moment? Mad Lions too? I
think I would probably bet on Excel Heretics not making it out. I think Excel played a really good game until they didn't today. And I think it can be hard to bounce back from that, especially when it's like such an important game. So we can see like how they show up tomorrow, but it's for sure a hard emotional feeling after throwing a game like that. And Fnatic is on a win streak, so I see them maybe continuing, and again not tomorrow, but a win the next day at least. And then Heretics, I think they'll probably also not make it.
And while you're here, if you don't mind me picking your brain, what do you think about Abadagi going to Excel?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think it's one of those moves where it's like he doesn't really get a super fair chance because it's he had 3 days of scrims, I think. So it's a bit sad for him in that sense. He doesn't get the pre-split. He kind of just joins as an emergency. So it feels bad in a way for him, right? But if he manages to turn it around, if they manage to make top 8 and then they actually get more time, it will be fun to see if he can turn some things around.
Interesting. And of the teams that, remain right now, but obviously we're still in the best of ones, there are spots to play for right now. Which team do you think will join you at MSI?
I think we will win the split. So I think it will be based on points. So I'm not actually I think Koi will probably make it. I don't know if they'll be second, but I think just because they're third, and I have a feeling they will place pretty highly. And with teams like Fnatic, Vitality, SK doing a lot better than they did last split, and Matt doing a lot worse, I will assume maybe Koi. That's my guess.
I like that guess. I imagine that Koi will be delighted to hear you backing them for that second spot. Right now, though, we have to hear from some friends of Caps. At least I hope you're friends, because you watch anime together, you play together, you live together. They are Hansama and Exakick, and they're over with Quickshot right now in PGL. Thanks, Caps.
Thank you.